There's a lot of confusion in the world today about good fats and bad fats. Now this here is a good fat. It's an animal fat. And I learned a lot about fats from Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride. And I'm going to tell a little story maybe that might just help us to understand and maybe clear up our own misconceptions about fats. I buy this fat, I get this fat from the butcher. It's lard. I bring it home, I put it into the oven, and I render it down into a liquid. And then it solidifies, and I put it into the fridge, and I use it to cook. Natasha Campbell-McBride, Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride talks a lot about different types of animal fat. Goose fat is one other one that she talks about. But anyway, this one here is it's beef fat. And it's very important for our brains and for our hormones and for our skin and for our heart, for virtually every part of our body. Because when we have an essential nutrient is not just something that's good for one part of the body. It benefits all the parts of the body. So a little story that I heard once that always sticks in my mind about fats. And I suppose we can learn a lot about health from animals when we look at animals, because animals don't have a choice. They're just innately programmed to do the right thing. We humans can be coaxed away. We can be misguided. And if people are the people who are doing the convincing are so good at what convincing, people can do the wrong thing. And then when they do the wrong thing, I suppose to come back really and have the confidence to do the right thing can take a little bit of time, because the good nutrients have been so demonized as if they're bad for us. But anyway, a little story that I heard, it was about it's about the bears. If you look at the bears in the wood, they hibernate for good part of the year. But and they're always fat. When we see bears, we usually see them when they're waddling around full of fat. So how they get fat is they know that in the summertime, when they're out and about in spring and summer, they have to eat an awful lot of fat, because they know they're going to hibernate and they're not going to be out eaten. So they store fat on their bodies. So they waddle around and they eat all this fat during the spring and summer months. And then when the winter time comes, then they go and they hibernate. But when they hibernate, their body is actually using, the metabolism slows down very, very, very slow. But even though the metabolism is very slow, they need nutrients to keep their bodies alive, their brain and their cells regenerate new cells. So what they use is the body fat that has been stored. So that fat then over that period of hibernation begins to diminish. And when when the spring comes again, they come out of their hibernation. And the first thing they do, they don't head off and start eating fat straight away. They head off and they find a particular berry. And this berry is actually cleans the lining of the intestine. And it prepares it for storage of fat again. So once they have done that clearing, they go off and they start eating and foraging for anything that is going to store fat. And then the whole cycle starts all over again. So we're the same. We need essential fats. And I use a lot of animal fat. And again, you can go to Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride, and she's written it in quite a lot of books. I've been to her lectures, and she's a wealth of knowledge. So that's the little story about good fats. So as I say, we have to stop eating all the plastic stuff, all the man-made fats that are out there, because they're the ones that do the damage, not the good fats. So as I say, this is a good fat. So I hope you like that story. As I say, that's science and that's a fact.